Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariana and I'm happy to have you here. It is high time I start my new stitching period, and this time I'm going to dedicate it to printed canvas designs. If you followed my videos for a while, you know that I have absolutely nothing against printed canvas or Chinese replicas. In fact, I have a fair share of those designs in my collection, and I know that many people out there on Flosstube and not even on Flosstube, they can be against because they say it's unfair to the original brand and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to either defend or, I don't know, bombard the design of the brand with something. I like it. I have it in my stash. I have it in my whips. I have them in my whips, and I'm sharing those cross-stitching progresses with you online. So I'm not trying to impose my opinion on anyone. I'm just sharing the designs I'm going to be working on. For maybe close to a month now, I've been following a new rotation. It's like all of my whips are divided into different categories, and this is the printed category. I haven't come up with a more appealing or more creative name for this video. Maybe I will come up with it in the future, but for now it's just the printed canvas category. And I'm starting with a copy of Bear Family, which is originally known as a Row of Love by Dimensions. I think that for a while this design was discontinued. I don't know if it's back on the market again, but I have it on printed canvas. And until recently I had some doubts about whether or not I was going to continue with it, because I had some questions about how the bears were turning out in terms of color. But then I finished one bear, and I have no questions left. So I will definitely continue working with this design. It is at almost 15% point. This is probably one of the most progressed printed designs in my whip collection so far. I'm gonna bring a little closer to you. Maybe the shades are different than they would have turned out to be if I were stitching an original. Maybe the bear would be lighter, darker. I don't know, but I think that there's room for deviation because not all teddy bears come in a single shade. So it is not, I don't know, black and red or black and blue, even though there's room for such colored bears too, I think. Anyway, I'm at 15% point, and I'm going to be progressing it over how many days I still don't know, but we'll see. Another design that I have on printed canvas, and which has been undeservingly forgotten for, I think, hold up, let me check. I think it's been a year since the last time, or maybe at least almost a year since I touched this design the last time. Can't even find it in my saga. That's weird. Anyhow, I haven't progressed as much. This is the whole piece that I have been working with. I think I started it the moment it arrived, and maybe it's 1 or 2 days of stitching. But I'm kind of confused. Where did it go on my tablet so that I cannot even tell you how well progressed it is. All I can tell you that it isn't a huge design. It is quite small design because I have already finished its companion, the red wine. I have already finished it, and I framed it. But I cannot show it to you right now because we're going through some renovations, and all the paintings have been removed, so I don't want to look for them. Well, I'll tell you more after I work with this design. What I remember definitely is that the background is covered in full stitch. That is probably because the original one comes on this like milk colored canvas. Surely I'm not gonna be doing that. Well, and I'm not gonna be changing the canvas. I'm just gonna leave the background white. That is what I've done with my red wine, and it turned out absolutely gorgeous. Everyone who comes to our house is always drawn to this painting. Cross stitch design, and sometimes they can't even tell it's cross stitched, not painted. Another one, unprinted canvas. This is one of my giants. It is called Beautiful Ways 3. Well, obviously there's probably 1, 2, if it says 3. And I have started it a long while ago. For this one, I definitely saw a pattern in my saga, but I haven't worked on it. Jesus. Seems like this one is gone too. What's happening to my... No, here it is. So overall, this design has 77,000 stitches, and I'm only almost 5% through, and I started it back in 2023, and I haven't touched it since that time. This is my favorite right bottom corner, and one of the roses. The rest, I'm gonna even unfold it for you to see the scale. I mean, that fact that it is 77,000 stitches says a lot. But that's not the only one that I have. Like in my previous video, I've been talking about that I'm not always a serial cross stitcher, but sometimes I am. And this design has a companion, which looks this way. You can definitely tell that it's a companion, or maybe it's just me, but I think it's a companion, so I've got it. But I think that this one, yes, this one is still in Ukraine. Haven't gotten it yet, and definitely haven't started, and probably won't start it before I finish this one. So I would love to progress it well during this period of time. And the last one at this moment, the last one that I've started on printed canvas is the beautiful jasmine in ways from Anastasia Yermakova. I have gotten the pattern from the designer, but I was too lazy to pre-kit it myself. Then I saw it in the online store, and I got it. This design is also not much progressed. It is only 7% through. So this is all, pretty much all that I've done and all that you can see. But I've been trying to stitch here logically, so I finished these blueberries, but didn't add backstitch to them because these jasmine flowers aren't finished yet. If you ask me, I think that the jasmine flowers, in this case, kind of raise some questions because of the color. I mean, they look more gray than white, and we all know that jasmine flowers are white. But then when you look at the design itself, it features exactly the shades that are given here. So I think that the addition of backstitch and washing the canvas of the paint will change it, will transform it, will make it look the way it is supposed to look. Well, I strongly believe in that. Oh, I said that this was the last one. No, there is one more, even bigger giant. That's the only preview that I have. This is the cross stitch that I got from Temu maybe a year ago, and its size is going to be over a meter by 50 centimeters. So you can imagine. I haven't showed it in my whips before because I mean, I don't have questions as to whether I'm going to continue stitching it. I would love to, but this state of this array, I didn't want to show it in camera. That is why I kept it hidden, but I didn't work on it either because I still don't have good organization, I would say. First of all, I don't have the digital pattern, which in my case slows the process because I like to count my stitches. I like to track progress, and this absence of digital calculations gives me the feeling of no progress at all. But since after I discovered the quarking method, I mean, it's not like I didn't know about it, I knew about it. After I discovered it and I applied it and it worked for me, I think I'm going to be working with this design using that method. The other reason why I was kind of postponing working on this design was where I had it. I had it on a frame. It isn't as large a frame as a design itself, but it is still much larger than an average Q-snap or let alone hoops. And since I don't have a frame holder, I had to put it on my lap and stitch it that way, but that's not the most comfortable way of stitching. I mean, it kind of works for me when I'm using hoops, but it doesn't work with larger frames because, first of all, it's uncomfortable to hold the frame. Secondly, it's like you're reaching everywhere, every side, which isn't comfortable too. I mean, a lot of distractions, a lot of obstacles. So I think this time I will try to work with hoops and together with parking method. So this is it. Considering the fact that I tell that I love working on printed canvas, I thought that I had more designs on printed canvas. So far I have what, 5, including this one. And I think that 5 isn't good enough of a versatility for me. I need something else. I need something more. That's why I decided to dive into my stash and see which designs on printed canvas I have in my collection. I decided to remind myself about which designs I have on printed canvas, and then I thought if I would, since I was about to film the video, I thought maybe you would like to see my printed collection as well. So this is the old apple tree. It was probably a hit from Marashka, but once again, for me, the brand is kind of a bit overpriced. That's why I got the printed canvas one. Will I start this kit in this period? Not sure. Don't have a burning desire to start this one, but doesn't mean that's not gonna happen in 2 days. So another quiet recent acquisition is the water lily. Picture painting water lily design from Letty Stitch. I acquired it also a couple months ago. I think I've been showing it in my haul or something. This one I would consider working with. I don't know, not setting it aside yet. We'll think about it. Typically I'm buying printed canvas designs from Joy Sunday. So after I browsed my stash, I figured out that I don't have that many either. I mean, even unstarted ones. This is the Snowy Night of Christmas. It is a replica of Dimmensions. But even though I'm not a seasonal stitcher, don't feel like starting something. I mean, I'm telling you that I don't feel like, and it goes in my mind that probably I should start something wintry so that I have it finished by the new year. So, not sure. I'm gonna set it aside. We'll think about it. The Snowy Night of Christmas. As I was saying, most of my kits are from Joy Sunday, and I discovered that I don't have many of them. This one is called Cats on the Windowsill, but originally it is Purring Autumn from the designer Natalia Yukevich. I have a Purring Summer in my ongoing whips, so I'm not gonna be starting this one anytime soon, considering how fast the other one is going. One more, Seaside Life. It is a replica by Design Works. I also I've seen a Flosstuber stitch this design. I mean, she's not like actively stitching it. She just started it and got me inspired, and I got this one immediately. But I didn't start it on time, so it still remains in my collection. I like the picture, I like the design, but I don't feel like I would want to start it yet. I mean, right here, right now. Another one, which is called Tiger number 7, but in real life it's probably, it has another name. It is a replica by J. Sunday for Luca S design. I have a lot of Luca S designs in my collection, as you've seen. I mean, the original ones. So I know that it is a pricey designer, but the size of their designs usually corresponds to the price. However, this design is 62 by 44. It's not a small one. This one wasn't the one that I was ready to pay a set amount of money for an original. That's why I got a printed copy. I think it's gonna turn out just as gorgeous. I'm not sure if it's gonna ever make it into a painting on my wall, so no rush here, and if something turns out not the way that the brand intended it, I wouldn't grieve over it. And once again, don't feel like starting it right now. There must be one more. Oh yeah. Also, replica of Luca S's design, which is called Not Hydrangea. It's definitely not Hydrangea, it's Lilacs. Last year, when I ordered this design, I was absolutely raving about it. I thought that I'm gonna start it immediately after it arrives, and then it arrived. I mean, it didn't. I ordered it and the different kit arrived. I've been waiting for over a month and a different kit arrived, so I had to request a refund and argue with the seller, and they promised to send me another one. I didn't agree. I asked for a financial refund, and then probably 1 month over, I reordered this design. I don't remember if it was from the same seller, and like I've been waiting for 3 months, and then this design came. I could have, over that period of time, could have ordered an original and have it brought to me from Ukraine, but I didn't for whatever reason, and I still like this design, but I mean, that urge to start it a bit faded, so it just remains in my stash. Someday I will definitely continue, I mean, start and continue working it with it on it. So these are like 7 kits that I have on printed canvas from Joy Sunday, and yeah, that's primarily Joy Sunday. And I thought that I didn't have many more designs on printed canvas, which isn't true, because I've got 2 big orders from Paint and Fairy cross stitch and 5 stitch stores, but they were just lying in the packages that they arrived in, because they arrived in beautiful boxes, and I just stashed them in a different place, and then it just hit my mind that I have more. So I decided to look through all the designs that I've chosen during that period, and I decided then to share them with you. So this is the dream of the Mediterranean. It kind of corresponds with the area where I live in. I mean, Italy, although I don't live anywhere. I mean, an hour away from the seaside. But still, I like the design, so. And then this beautiful fairy lighthouse. I kind of feel like I would start this one. The only thing that I'm afraid of is the backstitch, because if you remember, I've been stitching a small kind of a replica of Van Gogh's Night Over Rome, I think. I'm looking for its companion, but I cannot see it here. And the backstitch there was killing. I just finished the design back in January, and then I think in May I managed to add backstitch, and I didn't add all the way to add. I was improvising because I was so sick and tired of that backstitch, and not just the backstitch, I was sick and tired of trying to decode the pattern. So I kind of have my doubts. I have some reality-based fears that the backstitch here is going to be as can you see here? It's yellow backstitch on the roof, and it is barely noticeable. I don't know. I've been trying to find the designer online and order the pattern from her, and only maybe after that I will start stitching it, because I mean the design, the pattern, the printed canvas is alright, but the backstitch not so much. So in this case, you always need to have a digital pattern at hand. So probably I don't want to go through all the fuss at this point. So no, I'm saying at this point, because we're going through renovations and I'll have to be living to my mom's house. I'll have to spend some time there, and I cannot bring out all of my belongings with me, so I'm trying to choose the actual patterns I'm going to be interacting with, not to overcrowd my luggage. This is one more printed design from 5 Stitch. Also haven't found the designer. I think that the preview isn't actual cross stitch, it's just a painting, so I have no clue how it will turn out in real life. Hopefully it's gonna be as beautiful. Then there's this one, Van Gogh series Sunset. I haven't checked. I don't think that Van Gogh actually painted something as vibrant. I had an urge to start this design also with compared to other designs, it doesn't have any backstitch, but it also doesn't have a digital pattern. So I was reluctant to start it, because look at this mixture of symbols and signs. But now I think I've mastered the parking method. So it's gonna be a lot easier to start and progress this design when I have an urge, but at this moment I don't have it. So we're just setting this one aside. It would make sense to start this pattern right here, right now, because it's summer outside and it's a perfect summery landscape. But once again, don't have the digital pattern. Not sure. Not sure if I should. I mean, on the other hand, it doesn't have that much of back stitch, just on the poppies and on the mountains. Don't feel like starting something more on printed canvas. I mean, from anything that I've shown so far. And one more beautiful Christmas miracle from 5-stitch cross stitch store. I'm stalling because I think that I have more patterns, but I think that I flipped somewhere when I was getting ready for a video, so I'm gonna check it in a sec. Well, I knew that I had more, so I found just 3 more kits that decided to slip away. So this is the companion of Starry Night by When Go, whose companion already finished, and I'm reluctant to start this one. Well, definitely not this year, not anytime soon. I mean, I like the outcome, but the process is absolutely ghastly. The last one is also a designer pattern. I don't know from whom, but I think that I came across the digital pattern for this design, so it's gonna be easier to stitch whenever I decide to, but also don't feel like it at the moment. And now I'm gonna show you 3 possible starts. They aren't replicas or anything. I think they are genuinely designed by Chinese brands, in this case Cross Stitch Kit. It is called, I don't know, it's not called anything. It is a combination of the Lavender Fields and the Starry Night, and I love it. I do not know how it's gonna turn out. It has only 24 colors, so definitely that's the painted preview. It's not gonna look anything like that. But if anything, I'm gonna stitch it for the sake of stitching, and I'm gonna take the most of it. So this is the organization. I've never worked with such organization before. Don't know how comfortable it's going to be. Oh, these are the needles. And this is the ready-made design. I think, if anything, it's gonna make it a beautiful 40 by 40 cushion pillowcase. So that's the closest probably the closest start I'm going to make. That's the spoiler alert. But it may not happen, I don't know. We live in a turbulent time. One more, which I don't have a preview for. It also comes from Temu. It is designed by, I think, by Chinese. This is as close a preview as I can tell you. I know that you absolutely can see nothing. Maybe if I put it a bit further. It is a pair of wolves. It is a male wolf and a female, in my opinion, and they are surrounded by beautiful roses. This design has 28 colors, and this is how the palette looks. So the wolves are black and white, and the flowers are something in red hues. It's also gonna be, if anything, it's gonna be a gorgeous pillow because it is on 11 count. I think it's gonna be stitched in 3 strands. Yes, it says that for 11 count you have to use 3 strands to stitch. Not my favorite combination, but it is sort of very relaxing to work on printed canvas, especially on printed canvas of larger sizes. And I have one more from this brand. I'm sorry for the crinkling. I'll have to probably repackage it into something less crinkly. I just also I've seen another Flosstuber start this design. She hasn't progressed it much yet, but still it was enough for me to fall in love with this design. It is 60 by 80, which is huge. So you will probably be able to make a cushion pillowcase out of this, but on the other hand, it's gonna be a pleasure to work with, to stitch on, or so I think. I mean, no, rather, so I hope. Just look at the colors. I mean, I've heard many stitchers that hold up, almost lost one piece, that they don't like stitching for the sake of stitching. They only choose the designs they will frame someday soon. That's not me. I rarely think about whether I'm going to reframe or like somehow repurpose my finished design. It's my hobby, and I stitch for the sake of stitching. Just look at this color, at these colors. It's going to be absolute pleasure to work with. The only thing, I don't know if it's a mistake or maybe it's supposed to be this way. I have like doubles. Maybe just how many, maybe this many colors will be used. See, the numbers are repeating. So in these organizers are like doubles of each other. But I don't know, maybe it's a mistake on the part of whoever was compiling this design, or maybe it's how it works for them. So that's it. These are all the printed designs that I have in my collection so far. I know, it kind of comes and goes when I want to order designs on blank canvas and when I want to order something on printed canvas. And I think it works well because in the end you have a lot of designs in general, and you can start whatever. You have the freedom to start whatever you feel like, and that's probably the best thing. This is it. You've seen my started whips, you've seen my collection and potential starts, and we'll see what's gonna come out of this stitching period in I don't know, set amount of days. Cannot promise. Maybe it's gonna be even the end of June, or maybe even the beginning of July when I'm gonna release this video, because at my mom's home I won't have the opportunity to film anything because I don't want to carry all the equipment with me. So I'll be just stitching, enjoying, and then I'll share my progress with you. And I'm back with some progress, finally. I say finally because for you it's been just like a second since we last seen each other, talked to one another. But for me it's been already a couple, not really a couple, a few weeks, if not a month. And you must assume that I've made a whole lot of progress on my whips during that period of time, but I think I'm going to disappoint you because I didn't. I mean, I've been stitching a bit, but not as much as I'd like to. I'll dwell on the reasons as we proceed with my progress. So the first whip that I'm showing you is a beautiful was from J Sunday. Originally, I think it's from Dimmensions. I'm not sure. The last time you've seen it, there wasn't this leaf and there was some background missing from the design. I'm not unfolding it because there's little use. It will just take up space and there's nothing much than just the print. This is all I've managed to stitch. I mean, I added a little over 1,400 in this design, which is, considering all my other projects, is quite a lot. And since this design is 77,000 stitches long, adding 2% to it was, I think, was a nice progress. The issue with printed canvas, I don't know if it's in general with me or maybe it's just at this current stage in my life, but it's either I don't want to disperse my attention across different pieces, or I don't want to work with printed canvas at all. I don't know how to explain it, because at this point in life my emotions are all over the place. So at one second I want to stitch a printed canvas design, the other I want to stitch something different, and in a few seconds I don't want to stitch at all because I don't know, I'm upset, annoyed, or you name it. I know that this is normal for women in my condition, and as my due date is drawing nearer, it's getting harder and harder to focus on something else. But this is how it is. So yeah, just 2%, but a little over 1,300 stitches were added on this design, and I'm gonna show you the others. I don't have a preview for this pattern. The only type of preview I have, this teeny tiny picture printed in the corner of the canvas. But from the outline you can see that these are two wolves. It isn't a replica, it is a design I ordered from Temu, I suppose. And I was just willing to give it a try to see how it turns out. So I started from this corner. As you can see, I've been applying kind of a parking approach, which isn't exactly, which didn't exactly work out for me in this case. Why is that? Because if you look on the rest of the canvas, it seems that this pattern is exceptionally simple, because you take this color 20, which is which is what? Probably light gray. I'm not sure, I don't remember. And then you just fill out the background. But here, this part, it looks like a full-on heaven and earth designs pattern, because it has so many confetti, I would say, and I'm so used to using a digital pattern for all of my designs, and when there's confetti on the printed canvas, it isn't that easy to catch it on time before you move on with the floss. But still, I wanted to finish this corner, so I have it like 4x4 squares, which is somewhere around 1500 stitches. To tell you the truth, I got really tired of this design. It was pure will that made me continue it, and that's the outline of no, not the outline, but the way this pattern is designed made me reconsider starting another piece that I've been showing you. It was the mixture of Lavender Fields and When Goes Starry Night. I decided that I'm gonna start the next one only after I finish this one, because typically I don't have any restrictions when it comes to starting another pattern on printed canvas. But in this case, I figured that it's gonna be way too much for me, and it's gonna be difficult to progress both of those designs simultaneously. That's why I haven't even touched it. So yeah, am I satisfied with the outcome? No, not really. Will I continue it? Yes, because I really want to see those wolves, and I think it's gonna be a nice pillowcase after all. Besides, I mean, I don't. It's not one of those designs that I would easily dispose of, because there are cases when I set my designs aside when something goes wrong. Here, nothing really went wrong. It was just more time and effort consuming that I would have thought a printed canvas pattern would be. Surely, I think after I move to the main part, to the core part of the design, to the wolves themselves, it's going to be easier, because you can see how many patches in a single color are there. I had some thoughts of maybe mixing some of the flowers with the confetti and stuff, and then a bit of the wolf, either of them. But then I just wanted to see some wholesome piece on the design to actually make up my mind. I mean, you can clearly tell that these are flowers, but I think they are a bit too washed out for my taste. Yet still, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna continue it in my own pace. I'm saying in my own pace, because you've noticed that I try to group my designs into different categories and then choose between the designs in those categories. But I think that the printed canvas category will be deleted from my fortune wheel, or whatever helps me, the app that helps me choose the designs, because I cannot stitch continuously only printed canvas. I start to long for blank canvas and some more obvious progresses. That's why I'm gonna just divide all of my printed canvas designs into different categories and then progress them whenever that category comes up. Another one is the Bear Family, or Row of Love, originally from Dimmensions. Let me find it. How much did I? Oh, also almost 1500 stitches were added on this design. So I guess I was mistakenly assuming that I didn't make much of progress, but it's still something. There's still something to show you. So since it's been a while when I was working on these designs, I don't actually remember where I was working. I think I was finishing out this bear, adding the back stitch. I think I was filling in this bow, its paws, and I was working a little bit, just a tiny bit on the background. I've been mentioning it a lot that I don't like stitching in one strand, and a lot of background and even half stitch. I'm not sure if yes, there is half stitch in one strand. A lot of this, I mean, many areas of this design contain those one strand coverage, and that kind of slows me down because I don't like this kind of stitch. Yet still 1400, I mean almost 1500 progress is great, although I have like 22,000 stitches left and I'm only at 20% through 20% point. Hopefully I will speed it up during my next how do you say it, next stretches of stitching. I don't know which other categories I'm gonna be focusing on in the future. Hopefully it will come up, but still, you know, there's this feeling when you want to work on the other bag, you want to focus on this two-strand coverage, but then the realization that there is a whole lot of background isn't filled yet restrains you from moving on to the parts that you actually want to work on. I mean, that's probably just me because, I don't know, maybe people with anxiety or ADHD would understand me, but that's my approach. Until I finish this part, I would feel mentally uncomfortable to move on to the left. I don't know if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense to you regular people, but that's how my brain is wired, and there's absolutely nothing that I can do about it. So row of low, 20%, 1500 progress, 1500 stitches progress is great. One more, a printed canvas design from Temu that I decided to give a try to is this one. This beautiful landscape with no title. Honestly, I haven't even come up with my own definition of how I refer to this design. Just probably pink landscape. I have a very small preview, and of course it has little to do with how the actual design will turn out, but in this case it was a lot easier to work on than the previous one. This design is more well thought out. Uh, it doesn't have that much. It doesn't have actually any confetti that I've noticed. So it turns out, I don't know how it turns out, because I haven't even finished one flower, because as I said, I was getting tired of printed canvas, and I didn't have much of a choice because we were doing some renovations in our house. So I had to spend my time, around 3 weeks I had to spend on my mom's house. And of course I didn't bring all of my whip stash or my all of my collection. I just had my printed canvas designs and a few smaller pieces that I was planning to finish, which I haven't yet. So I had to stick to what I had on me at that point of time, and that kind of a restriction slowed down my progress. I was honestly preoccupied with anything except for stitching. And also, in my defense, one more point that sorry, that's my dog, that didn't allow me to make as much progress as I would probably have done at home, was my stitching place. I didn't have that stitching place at my mom's. I think a week into my staying with her, I decided to bring my hoop holder, which was actually a game changer. But my hoop holder is a small one, and this canvas is like gigantic, so it's difficult to set it onto that hoop holder. But still, it was, to the point, it was manageable. So I think here I made maybe around 800-900 stitches progress. And as you can see, I've been using different needles for different colors because I was applying the parking method here. Of course, I know that the original parking method, it means that you have to have a separate needle for a different color, but I'm prone to losing needles and I'm always afraid of losing them, and I primarily stitch on the bed, so that makes losing a needle twice as dangerous. So I had 3 needles. I could count them all the time, and as long as I've seen them, I was confident, and I didn't lose it. So also I've just glanced at the design without the camera. I must tell you that on camera you can see the colors in a warmer spectrum than they actually are on the design. They are more to the colder side. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna change when I'm gonna be adding more and more colors. Whenever that's gonna happen, because at this point I don't want to work with printed canvas, and I think I'm gonna be setting it aside for a while. So yeah, that was another piece that I was working on. And the last one, yeah, I didn't have many designs. I think 5 or 6. I've just noticed that I didn't bring the last and the largest piece with me. My progress here shows like 3,000 stitches, but that's incorrect because I think that I lost my progress because it was on a different phone. So as you can see, I've been working in this right corner, I think that there's maybe 1,000 stitches added because I've been working on it 2 days, but during the first day I was crossing out all the previous progress from the pattern that I have accidentally erased or lost. Probably I lost because it was on a different device and I just didn't save it. So I'm right now at 15.6% point, and I have a little under 17,000 stitches to go. Probably this is one of the designs on printed canvas that I wouldn't mind working on, because I liked working on the red wine before, and I actually finished it quite fast. But on the other hand, I do not know. I've been thinking about this design over and over again, but then when it came into my hands, I was like, not really feeling like stitching it. I don't know. As I said, my emotions and my mind is just all over the place right now, so it's difficult to concentrate on a single piece. So I'm trying out a new approach. It's like stitching a few designs in one day so that I do not get bored. But we'll see how that's gonna work. We'll see probably in my next progress videos, in my next updates. Yeah, I just remembered that I haven't brought the largest piece. So this is how my Chardonnay looks. I mean, that maybe there is a different name to this design. I mean, it's called by NKF Grapes and Wine, but I call it Chardonnay. 15% through, better than nothing. I think that I was at the point of 10% when I started it this time, so I guess I added a little bit over than 1,000 stitches in this design, so it's definitely better than nothing. Yeah, and hold up, I'm gonna go and grab the largest piece of the stitching period. So the last but not least design that I was working on is this. I don't know which one I have. My design is probably 100 by 40 centimeters, so it is a meter long. It is a giant among my designs, and I think I left it lying in my stash for around a year because I couldn't find the right approach how to stitch it. I think I mentioned before that I don't have a frame to put it onto, and it is too big for hoops. But this time I've tried it again with hoops, and I figured that this is the best approach if I mix hoops and parking. I was reluctant to start it, to start progressing it, because I thought, what if I get annoyed with it because yada yada yada. But compared to the wolves that I've been showing you before, it does not have that many confetti. The pattern itself, it's quite logical. Initially, I had a very ambitious plan to fill out all of this part, but as you can see, there are like a couple thousand stitches, and I could have done it, and I even wanted to. I still look at this design and I kind of want to progress it, but on the other hand, I want to progress my other pieces. So I'll think about what I'm gonna do with this design, but what I did was finishing, I think it's 2 rows from bottom up. These 2 rows are completely finished. Surely they don't look like as textured and as, I would say, realistic as any piece from designers or Dimmensions or some other famous brands would. Yet still, this stitching run instilled hope that I'm gonna finish this design one day, because it progresses easily. I think even if I had a digital pattern for this to track my progress in like numbers, it would inspire me to continue it even more, because I like looking at numbers. I like seeing this. I have this setting added to my application that it shows you how many minutes you spent on 100 stitches, and typically it takes around 25 to 30 minutes for me to stitch 100 stitches on the design. Again, it depends on the complexity of the design, but the easier the design, the simpler the design, the faster it progresses. Sometimes it comes like when you're stitching background, you complete 100 stitches in like less than 15 minutes. And that kind of inspires and motivates me. So if I had a digital pattern for this design, and if I tracked the actual progress on it, I wouldn't probably want to set it aside. And right now I'm telling you that I have this urge to work on different designs during the day. One more reason for that is that, as I said, I'm getting closer to my due date, and finally on my maternity leave, so I have like the whole day to myself. I do not move much. I mean, I do not go out much because in Italy the heat is unbearable at this point in summer. I'm having difficulties breathing as it is, but it gets so hot outside that it is impossible to do anything, not even breathing. So I try to stay in and save as much energy as I can. So that's why I have more time to dedicate to cross stitching. But then on the other hand, I get bored of the same process. So I think the multiple process approach will help me show better progress, if you know what I mean. I don't know, maybe I'm just blabbing because I haven't been talking to you in a while. The key point, I finally found the second corner of this design, which is great considering the size of this design. Not sure whenever I'm gonna find the other ones, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. I've been watching some cross-stitching videos, and people in the comments ask us, those who have like many whips, 10 and more, in my case it's 70 and more, why do you have so many designs? Honestly, it amazes me when someone takes one process and just finishes it in a few days, in a few weeks, depending on the size of the design. But for me personally, it's not the finished result that I like. I like the process. I like working with different counts. I like working with different colors. I like working with different patterns, because each pattern is absolutely, they aren't all identical. On the one hand, it may seem that what's there to cross stitching, you just stitch crosses and that's it, but that's not the truth. There's a different layout to every design. I don't know how to explain it. For me, it's all about the process and about the versatility. I get bored. It's not that I get bored, or maybe I don't know, maybe it's probably the boredom, but I like juggling different processes. Sometimes it is as difficult to choose from a single from my pile of whips as it is to continue working on a single piece. Yet still, it's a hobby, and I know that people have many hobbies. Some people like painting, some people like diamond painting, other people like knitting, sculpturing, crocheting, and sometimes they like multitasking because they have a few hobbies at once. In my case, it's just a single hobby with as many outlets as possible. Yeah. So, in case you ever wonder why I have so many pieces, that's because I like versatility. So this is gonna be it for me. I know I haven't showed you many whips in this video. I showed you a lot less than I've been showing them in my printed stash part, but what can we do? I'm still satisfied. Oh, not really satisfied, but it could have been worse, I think. So I'm glad that it is how it is at this point. Other than that, I want to thank you for reaching out, for commenting my videos, for sharing your wishes, congratulations. I truly appreciate it. So I want to encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe my videos if you like what you see, because that gives me motivation to continue filming what I stitch, to continue sharing it with you. So thank you once again, and I'll see you in my next videos sometime soon. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.